everyone. Welcome to the Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'm Fran, your host and NLP coach. Join me as I interview inspiring business owners and self-improvement seekers about their experiences whilst delving into personal development, motivation and strategies for overcoming challenges. Let's ignite our creative potential together. Hello and welcome to Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'm Fran, your NLP and business coach, and I'm delighted to introduce a motivational guest. Deborah helps keep busy minds. You don't help keep them busy, do you? You help them slow down, breathe again, literally. She champions mindfulness that feels human, not a passing trend, by blending innovative digital calm experiences with a message of self-acceptance through her t-shirt line. She combines breathwork, entrepreneurship, and a generous heart to remind people that peace is possible without quitting their day jobs. Deborah, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, Fran. Lovely introduction.
This is much needed today, and I tell you, there's a little thread running in my mind of all the things I want to do this week. And I felt really busy, hence like me framing it as the fact that you help people's minds be busy. Because that's how I'm feeling. So this is very welcome today. Thank you. So one of the many ways a business can be started is by validating an idea. And quite often that's through real everyday use. And you've done exactly that because you really embody mindfulness, don't you?
I do. It did take a while. I probably started the journey about 7 years ago. Um, and even for the first sort of year, a year and a half, it felt like it was a practice, something I was doing. And then it kind of dropped in and it became part of my life. And yeah, and I like to share it with others as well.
Yeah, I like mindfulness too. So I've
Yeah.
got a couple of pre-planned questions for you,
Yeah,
and we'll have a little explore around that if that's okay with you. And
absolutely.
I know that I'm going to just start to feel, you know, that I'm more calm and I'm more mindful during this.
Yeah.
I've had a busy little mind today. Um, right, are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
And this lends itself very nicely to how I've been feeling. So the pace of modern life is relentless.
Mhm.
What practical breath work or mindfulness techniques do you reach for first when you're feeling overwhelmed? And
Mhm.
how do you then explain that to somebody new to these practices?
Great question. I have my pocket of tools that I now have and use. So as much as I teach, I use the same tools and techniques that I share with everybody, especially when life is a little bit chaotic and the mind gets a little bit overwhelmed. So the first thing I sort of draw to, which I have mixed in with mindfulness, which is very much sort of bringing ourselves into the present moment, is using my breath. So I use a lot of breath work techniques to ground myself and center myself. They all have different names. They all have different counts and holds. I work with, in particular, they're called nervous system reset, which is to regulate the system and to calm us and bring us into the present moment. I mean, for example, there's one which is called a box breath, where we breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. But not everybody does sometimes breath work sit well. We're all individual. Um, so everything will land differently. People will have preference over different techniques. So I always encourage people to learn different techniques. I particularly like, it's called pinhole breathing. We can do this one together if you like. It's where we just breathe in through the nose gently. And then we're going to make a little purse with our lips and breathe out.
That's a
The
funny
more we
face.
practice that,
So for anyone watching on video, there's a whole other thing going on here.
so that's pinhole breathing, and that's really just to decompress the body, to regulate the body. So we'll all learn sort of different techniques. There's also another sort of technique which we can use senses to see something, touch something, hear something.
I like
Um,
that one.
you like that one? Yeah. See, everybody
Yeah.
has a particular sort of favorite that they will go to. Um, So they're my kind of, I would say they're my sort of go-tos. And
Yeah,
then that will take me on to the next, what do I do next? So that those straight away bring you into the present moment.
yeah. See, I like mindfulness very much.
Hmm.
And I'm still at the stage where, I don't know about still at the stage, where the stage that I'm at is that I
Yeah.
have to consciously remind myself
Hmm.
to be mindful. So it's a
Yeah.
conscious decision.
Yeah.
And this came out of many years of depression. I've
Hmm.
got a history of depression, and it
Yeah.
was mindfulness, I feel, that actually saved me and saved my mind and my sanity, and
Yeah.
just brought me back from disassociating to the point that I it wasn't a choice.
Yeah.
Um, so mindfulness does really work for me, and I have to remind myself of it because I do get very. I have like a like a busy little mind, like
Hmm.
many people, just a busy little mind, and it just really grounds and centers me. The whole
Yeah.
breathwork thing is very interesting. I
Hmm.
like it that it can be personalized,
Hmm.
and that you can choose versions of it that suit
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Personally, I have to have some additional help with counting. I can quite often get distracted, or I don't do numbers very well. I've got dyscalculia, so
Yeah.
I can do it. However, I'm very conscious of doing it, and I don't necessarily sit into the whole breath work. So somebody else would, I like it if somebody else counts for me.
Yeah. To be guided.
you know yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, that's the word. Yeah, I like to be guided.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I've got a medical condition. So I had pulmonary embolisms on both lungs many years ago,
Hmm.
multiples, and that left me with a lot of scar tissue on my lungs. So I'm very susceptible to chest infections and
Yeah.
um, pain in my chest as such because of the scar tissue. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got an I've got a habit, and I'm going to say it's a habit. I've got a habit of breathing very shallow
Hmm.
because it actually hurts me to, breathe deeper. However,
Yeah.
it's good for us, I think. I'm going to make a generalized sweeping statement here that it's good for us to take a deep breath and actually fill our lungs, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's sometimes why they're also called breathing exercises, because you are using your lung capacity, you're working with the CO in the body, it's helping with the or what's it called? Your blood pressure. So there's that those elements that come into it as well as apart from sort of bringing us into the moment and sort of bringing our focus back. But of course, you have to be aware of everybody's individuality, and that's why breath work will suit some. And even like when you mentioned about the counting, so that's why there is the different practices. But also with the mindfulness, I think the main part of it is exactly what you just touched on, is when you made a conscious decision to be mindful. And I think that's basically the practice within a nutshell, because you're bringing yourself, you're conscious that your mind's busy, you're conscious you're being sort of distracted or you've attached onto thought. So you're bringing yourself back into the moment. I mean, that's really it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm attaching onto to thought, and then
Mhm.
yeah, becoming I don't know whether it's so much overwhelmed, but my mouth and my words don't move as fast as what my thoughts are going. So
Yeah, I mean, we have, so, I think it's 60 to 65,000 thoughts a day anyway. So you can imagine when we're really busy, if we've got something going on in our personal life, especially say like this time of year when we've got extra things to think about, the brain just has so much to deal with
but
anyway.
there's actually only so many things that we can actually process.
Yeah,
So although the brain's taking in all of that information, I think maybe it's like seven things or something that we can actually.
absolutely.
And then
Yeah,
there's the whole. I love talking about the curve of forgetfulness, because then within that, there's a
yeah,
curve of forgetfulness in which if we don't revisit something, I think it's within 7 days. There's like
yeah,
some kind of power of seven going on. But yeah, I suppose it's because my mind is aware that there's a lot of thoughts and things like that going on. I might not necessarily be consciously aware of exactly all of the thoughts because there's
yeah,
way too many, but it'll
yeah,
pick one, attach itself to it, and then
yeah,
I get a little confuddled,
yeah. Kerfuddled. That's the
as I demonstrated in the beginning of this podcast. So I've got another specific question for you.
Yeah.
Um, Now, this one's interesting, I think, anyway. So, what's a common misconception about mindfulness that you particularly encounter most often? And what's a truth that you wish to convey to any listeners?
It normally is that you have to sort of sit in a lotus position and clear your mind completely,
Mm.
which and nobody could ever do. Through meditation, we learn to be aware and bring our mind and notice our thoughts. That's really what you're doing. So a lot of people will think that mindfulness is sort of sitting in a blank state. But we can be mindful making coffee, we can be mindful walking, talking, listening to people. Um, Maybe people sometimes attach it to a religion or spirituality. So to me, mindfulness is really just about being present, having awareness, and being non-judgmental, one to yourself and to others. And that's basically it, really. It's not overcomplicated.
I don't have to be sitting on a mountaintop.
Absolutely not, not at all. And even, people will choose how they sit in a meditation, where you can have a walking meditation, listening to music meditation. They're just really formal practices of mindfulness
Yeah,
of
I was just going to say it all blends, doesn't it?
yeah, you have
Yeah,
informal practices as well, which is when you're not doing the breath work or the meditation, but you're just very mindful of everything, the color of the leaves as you walk down the street, or just even how you're feeling, it's and being able to tune into yourself, regulating sort of I wouldn't say regulating your emotions, but allowing emotions to pass through without fear or without judgment.
mm.
Um, and then being just very kind to yourself with self-compassion. I always say treat yourself like you would treat your best friend. A lot of the time we're very hard on ourselves. So mindfulness does bring that element into the practice as well.
It helped me very much with depression that I've been challenged with.
Yeah,
One of the ways that that would rear itself was with a critical voice.
yeah,
Predominantly, I had a very critical voice and
yeah,
didn't realize that there could be anything else
yeah,
because that's all I seem to remember.
yeah,
And mindfulness really enabled me to kind of just sit with that and look at it and actually reframe things so
yeah,
that I could have the critical voice, but then just challenge it gently or, and then
yeah,
focus on something. And it just really helps me stay in the present moment, which lends itself beautifully to coaching because
yeah.
coaching is predominantly about tidying up the past. We
Hmm.
can go and tidy that up.
Yeah,
We sit at the now and then move forward, and I feel that
yeah.
mindfulness is a lovely thing to help to facilitate that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think to me, it's just kind of another little layer in our life that kind of helps us to facilitate, helps us to communicate, helps us in relationships, professional and personal. So it's kind of like a bit of an umbrella, really, but that just sort of gently just is guiding you on the sort of, I wouldn't say that like the right path, but just in a
A
way,
path.
a path, yeah. And
Yeah,
it's like you sort of have a bit more clarity, you have focus, you start to respond rather than react. And exactly what you said about that, the inner dialogue, we can then sort of notice, oh, I'm talking to myself like this because we become very habitual creatures. And we believe what we tell ourselves. So if you kind of flip the conversation to start saying kind things to yourself, then the inner dialogue changes.
yeah. That's our beautiful brains, isn't it? So
Yeah,
your
yeah.
your brain will believe, you know,
Where you tell it.
your inner voice and what you're
Yeah,
telling it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, right. So I want to get curious
Hmm.
about the fact that you've got a t-shirt line. So you've built a brand around mindfulness,
Hmm.
and you've actually got a tangible product line. So can you tell us more about that? And I don't think it's just t-shirts, but tell us more.
Yeah, so I have been on a little mission.
Ooh,
Created, so yeah, a mindful merch. So yeah,
I
mindful
love it.
merch, yeah, is sort of my project. Has been since the summer this year actually, and it was just that every sort of design has a purpose. I've started with some t-shirts, which were self-love t-shirts, The logo actually says, I love every part of me. And again, it was to embrace kindness and self-compassion for oneself. And that's a really nice part of mindfulness, is when and some people, I must admit, and even myself, found that very difficult in the beginning. And that's because of the way, like just what we've spoken about, our inner dialogue and how we talk to ourselves. So it can feel quite unnatural and a bit odd at first. But once you embrace it and it sits better with you, it's just a really nice, I thought it was just a really nice way to spread kind of mindfulness through sort of merchandise that, and even I notice when I wear the t-shirt out, I will be like in Tesco's and the lady at the till was like, oh, I like your saying. And she'll go, I love every part of me. And suddenly she's saying she loves every part of her. It was just a way to sort of, sort of reach my community that I have through social media and spread mindfulness, yeah, through wearing it.
Yeah, no, I love that a lot. As no doubt you're aware, because we've actually, just for transparency, we've met in person. So we met in person ages and ages ago at an event, and we follow each other online. So
Mhm.
you may remember that a little while ago, it was while I was doing like retraining retraining as a coach. I dug heavily into
Mhm.
mindfulness and heavily into self-love. So I
Yeah,
actually kind of explored self-love coaching, and a lot of my early messages were about self-love because
yeah.
I was exploring that myself, because that's
Hmm.
something that I didn't realize was possible.
Hmm.
I just didn't know anything about it.
Yeah,
And I was so deep within my depression that it would never have occurred to me that I actually needed to think about,
yeah.
self-love or speaking to myself compassionately. So that was
Mhm.
very much part of like my journey coming through. And it's why I love
Mhm.
your content as well, because you've just mentioned social media. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
on to share where people can find you in a moment.
yeah.
Um, and I love it that you do, going to mention your outfit of the day. I love it that you do outfit of the day. I feel like it's a really nice thing, like to look forward to as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it was just to bring a bit of fun energy really to because my social media, which is the Instagram and the TikTok, is very much sort of building a community and just getting
Mm.
them to relate that, I'm not a sitting on top of the mountain with my legs crossed every day. I'm a mum and I have a job and I work and I teach classes and I juggle like everybody else. And it was just trying to sort of bring a bit of a relatability, but also have a bit of fun and bring some energy into mindfulness. It's not always just about quiet and sitting still. It's also what brings you joy, what lights you up. And I actually found through doing the outfit of the day, I was actually growing with my confidence. So I always advise anybody, if you want to do something, do it, have fun and live and allow this mindfulness and this sort of self-love and expression just to grow, and it will help you evolve and grow.
That's reminded me actually of another possible misconception, in that mindfulness is fluffy, that it's
Yeah.
just surface level, that it doesn't go any deeper. And that's not actually true, is it?
No, no. I mean, there really is. I think I started mindfulness, like I said, I think about 7 years ago, and it was being recommended to take on. It was called a mindfulness-based stress reduction course. It was all to do with I was very stressed at the time. I started having panic attacks. I had to have some time off work. I just sort of kind of hit a wall. So I tried some CBT. I tried the mindfulness. At first, I was really resistant to the practices because I could not think of anything worse than sitting down and meditating. Um, but I was starting to understand how my brain was working, how the thoughts were taking me off into other places, why I was repeating the same patterns. I was in a habitual kind of cycle. Um, so yeah, that's when it starts, the layers of mindfulness start to sort of unravel. But I feel like you get connected to who you are. And then you can, live. I'm living as Deborah Flanagan, to my best, the best. And also there's ups and downs. Not every day is singing and dancing, but I can navigate and I can manage. I've got my tools, I've got my techniques. So yeah.
And that reminds me as well to just mention that quite often with what we do, what we learn, and businesses that we create, it's
Hmm.
just that we're just a couple of steps in front of somebody else. We can hold our hand out and help them along too.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're doing by showing your outfit of the day so that people can see that you're a real person and not a bot. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and, and that you're truly embodying the mindfulness lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your insights, warmth, and practical wisdom with us, and also for just, I feel more regulated actually.
Hmm.
I
That's
was
good.
I was very excited to talk to you, but I was also like blah blah blah, like because thousand things at once.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel more grounded, which is lovely. So for those of you who are interested in learning more about Deborah and her work, you can visit her on TikTok. So
Hmm.
you're on TikTok as Mindful Debs.
Yep.
So it's at Mindful Debs.
Yep.
And I follow you on there, and I like seeing your TikToks. And you're also on Instagram. I'm not sure, are you quite active on Instagram?
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of, yeah, I did, it's hard to juggle
yeah,
different platforms and different. So yeah, I am coming a little bit more awake on Instagram. I do go a little bit quiet there, but yeah, I'm back on it over there. It's the same. I've to create a seamless, and so I don't forget. It's the same handle at Mindful Debs.
Mindful Debs. Yeah, I like that. And I feel like sometimes we can just ebb and flow with these things.
Yeah,
Because I enjoy social media. So there's a couple of platforms that I prefer, and I
yeah,
really like social media, and I ebb and flow with it. Sometimes I don't
yeah,
post at all, and you know,
yeah,
it depends. If you're building up a personal brand or a business or a message that you want to get out because you're building up a community, it's always
yeah,
best to build in some kind of continuity.
yeah.
So whether that's that you post daily or weekly, or to build the continuity there. So I tend to find that I'm more active on places like YouTube, and you can
Yeah.
find me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm just not quite as active. But I do notice what you get up to. So, because I like,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. I need to actually remember to like things as well on my way through, because I sort of watch it. I think it was just so lovely. Oh, that was such a nice bit. And then I never like anything. So
I know you're
just
there. I know you're
click that button. Go and
there.
click that button, people. Go and find Deborah and click that button and follow and like. So if you're
Thank
interested in more content like this, visit, or you can be sure to visit www.melancholymentor.com, which is me, and follow for the latest updates. The latest podcast goes on there as well,
you.
so that you can find that. So until next time, stay curious, keep igniting your creative potential, and go and find Mindful Debs
Mhm.
and enjoy her outfit of the day. Um, and you know, you can follow me along as well. See if I continue to truly embody mindfulness and remember that I've got it in my resource kit and my toolkit, that it's part of something that I can actually use, because sometimes I completely forget and I'm like, oh, my head might spin off, and then I remember that it's there for me to use. So
Yeah.
lovely reminder as well for us to just love ourselves.
Yeah.
Tell me again, what was the message that you had on your top?
On the
It's like
t-shirt,
a,
I
yeah,
love part of me.
I love every part of me. There you go. And then if somebody reads that, they read it as though they were saying it to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, Fran. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on the Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'd love you to subscribe. For queries or to connect, email info@melancholymentor.com. Until next time, keep igniting your creative potential.